The front-facing camera, this one now.
Hey.
Okay, so this one is requested by Phil, who left a comment on Discord. He said, for those of us who are riding the Struggle Dales event this weekend, who hasn't and who has ridden in a group, just out of curiosity. So I've roped in my amazing assistant Antonio. Short and sweet, we're going to be going through a couple of things for those people who haven't ridden in a group before. A bit of etiquette, or a bit of like, I don't know, like just pointed out how you point out portals.
Heads up, innit?
Yeah, how to give a heads up to people behind, and depending if you're in a big group or small group, it changes as well. And a couple of handy tips that our resident pro Antonio has picked up over here. I was gonna call the video pro tips and then like have you as the pro. Okay, so I want to talk about anchor points first off. So hand positions when you're climbing, although we're on a flat road now, we're gradual. Like Ants is riding on the tops, which is perfectly fine. He's on the front of a group. If you're in the middle of a group, it'd be kind of frowned upon if you were riding on the tops, mainly because your hands are nowhere near the brakes. If you're climbing, goes without saying, you can ride whatever's comfortable. If you're descending, personally, you're gonna say something now, but you should always ride in the drops on a descent.
Yeah.
In case you lose your hand grip
over the top
on the hoods. Yeah, I mean, it's an obvious thing, you know, and take it from me, it hurts.
Cheese grate at the moment.
Cheese grate there in Canada. Probably more important, especially if you're traveling at speed, to point out things like portals, tree roots, for example, speed bumps. What else is there?
Well, could come round the corner, set the traffic light, so whoa, innit? Not close roads, is it?
No.
Oh, you could have a car pulling out in front of you, anything.
Going up a climb, usually we don't really point stuff out because, well, we're going slow enough most of the time. Unless there is some ginormous hole in the middle of the road, but you know, usually that's what your voice is for, isn't it? You shout hole, or anything. You can even just shout like, yeah, like anything, like as long as it gets people's attention, like that's the thing. So the final thing is downhills, and this is probably the biggest area for people to get things wrong. And we've seen a couple of like pearlers in our time. I've seen them in racing, well, I've seen them in club runs, everything. Be in the drops, your voice is the best thing you can use. Like shout to people, don't be afraid to shout to people, especially when you're traveling through the wind quite fast, isn't it? It's like you've got to say something. It's either shout, like I said, or to do like the chicken elbow thing that I'll show you in the overlay, which is what we've also done with speed bumps, which is where you kind of like flick your elbows. It's almost like flicking your elbows to come through and do a turn, but by doing that, people are like, oh, what's going on? And then it makes them more alert just straight off the bat. So
say what I find, if you coming downhill in a group and you run certain of the downhill, give yourself an extra yard or two because somebody put the brakes on, not sure, and it's like coming out of hyperspace moment in Star Wars and you go, wow, you were confident, there you're not. So unless you're on the front, always be wary.
yeah.
Nice one, Ant. Right, what we've got here now is an overlay. So we're going to have a couple of hand signals here. Some of you might have never seen them before and you don't have a clue what's going on. So we're just going to explain them really quickly. So I've got Ants to point out something on the left here, which is just a simple point. Same for this next hand signal. This is like a whoa, like a slow down or alert you to something coming up or down on the right hand side. We are on a cycle path here. And then that one there where he just flicks his elbows out, that's for something like a speed bump, or for anything. If a portal is coming too fast, you can't take your hands off the bars. Very easy to signal to people to let you know that there's something there, because like I said, it gets people's attention, and sometimes that's all you need to do is to get somebody's attention. So I've got two clips now that are both like almost full descent. This one's got a couple of bumps on. Now obviously we both know this descent very well, so Anthony's going to miss out some hand signals here. But it really doesn't hurt, you know, to overkill the whole kind of shouting, or, you know, you can never be too cautious, especially if you're in a group you've never ridden with. There is etiquette, and I thought it would be a good time and place to get to share the experience of riding with somebody else that you don't know, or riding with, you know, a small group you've never ridden with before. You know, there's etiquette that all cyclists should really know to keep the group safe and to keep yourself safe. So we're coming around this corner now. We're catching up to this car quite quickly. Just got into a 30 zone. Ants gives us a little hand signal, and we start to slow down. Now we get to the bottom of the descent, and we've got some speed bumps coming up here. Obviously, I know they're coming. Now, something you could do here is just shout bumps, simple, or just flick your elbows out. And that alerts people to the danger of a speed bump. The thing is, a speed bump, it can be quite dangerous, you know, in disguise, really, because you do have that opportunity to slip. You know, your hands can slip off the bars. So we take this turn. I just left the camera roll just because you don't get to see some of the places we ride very often. But yeah, it goes without saying that, you know, the descents are probably the most tricky part for people to ride in a group. You know, it's the same for races. You know, the bunch gets strung out. Everybody has their own technique of descending and, you know, avoiding potholes, whether that be bunny hopping. The thing is with bunny hopping potholes or speed bumps is you never really give a chance for the person behind then to do the same. Unless they're far enough behind, like what I've done here. I've deliberately laid off the back of Anthony by a good 2 seconds maybe. Coming into obviously a built up area, you know, it depends where you're riding with your group. You might be lucky enough to not have a built up area like this, but there's a school that we've just gone past, so there's always hazards. I feel like this is like a cycle proficiency course. Me telling you about all these hazards, but you get the idea. You know, I'm just trying to get some tips across. Hopefully, I have done in some way, or we have done. You know, you've got pedestrians, you've got cars parked here, you've got people pulling out their driveways. There's driveways all the way down this descent, and it's a fast one as well. So, you know, you're in the drops, you're covering your brakes, you're communicating, and the thing is, the gap to Anthony here is so big that I give myself enough time when we do hit this little section here where he comes back to me quite quick. There's a car there that was going to pull out on us. And, you know, we kind of made ourselves big, you know, by doing that, you're kind of making yourself seen. And, you know, as a group, it's obviously easier to be seen rather than just a solo cyclist. But anyway, I hope you find this useful or interesting, and hopefully safe for you guys and your local group bike riding, wherever it may be. Have a good weekend.